And this is showing up on the preview screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hello. Welcome to another episode of The Arena. This is our esports show where we... this is my computer now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our esports show where we play games and that are of the competitive variety. And we try to understand why they are fun, what makes them work. And today, Janelle is going to be playing and teaching me how to play Royale. So, you were just explaining it a little bit to our fine people who are joining us today. But explain it one more time for our audience, the gist of what is Royale.
Absolutely. So Royale is currently still in beta, and it is a battle royale style game with a lot of fantasy influences. We'll say influences. They definitely adhered more to the fantasy element when they initially started, and they've kind of moved away from that in recent updates. But for the most part, they've stayed pretty consistent. And you'll see a lot of influence from Fortnite and other major battle royale games, but it has a few mechanics that really differentiate it. One of which being this really weird muscular chicken here.
This guy.
Yeah, that little guy. So, where in most games, most battle royales, once you lose all your HP as a person, or whatever main character you're playing, you get knocked and your team has to revive you in some way. Realm added a kind of middle step where you get turned into a chicken and you just burst into feathers, become a chicken, and you can try to survive for what I think is 15 seconds, and then you'll turn back into a person. And Realm has a talent tree, so there are different ways for you to kind of increase your odds of survival.
Does the talent tree get updated as you're playing, or is it like something you do like here in the menu?
So if you go to Armory,
okay,
and go to is it in here? Maybe it's not. Oh yeah, click on any of these people and then go to Mastery.
Mastery.
Yeah, so this is what the talent tree unlock screen looks like. So you have a few.
So like other players can have an unfair advantage over me? Because,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they have mastery?
Yes, 100%.
So they're trying to introduce RPG elements into a competitive game. That's kind of interesting.
They are, and there's actually a lot of RPG elements in this. So you can pick up runes that you craft throughout the game. There's an element of what are called shards, so you can shard weapons and exchange whatever weapon you just sharded for in-game currency. You spend that currency at forges to create weapons, abilities, runes, potions to help your health and armor. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the game aside from just fighting. And
all that is like here, and so then there's like global.
Yeah, global is like all the aesthetic stuff.
This is what I'll look
That's
like
what a default chicken looks like, yeah.
So is this a team shooter exclusively, or is it a...
So there's solos, duos, and squads.
Okay.
That you can choose from. And there's also 4 different classes.
So
and
does
like
if you have a squad of 4, do you all have to pick different classes, or can you all be the hunter?
You can all be the hunter, and that's totally a thing, which is very frustrating to play against.
Oh, specifically all hunter?
Yeah, specifically all hunter or specifically all assassin. The classes are not terribly well balanced. That's something that they continue to work on as the game updates. They roll out updates pretty frequently. And the classes are not at all balanced. So each one has its respective strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So it's great if you have a full squad of 4 people that are great at each of the classes. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world, that's what would be great.
That's what the game is might want to be in a perfect world.
Yes, yeah. And when you play in community tournaments, that is a rule. You do have to have, if you're playing in a squad, it has to be one of each.
And so, what is the degree of difference between the different classes? Like, so we've got hunter, we got warrior. There's like a mage one.
Mage and assassin.
So, like, are they very different, or do they mostly control the same with some slight variations? Because I'm thinking of like a game like really Apex Legends, where like, yes, technically like Pathfinder is quite a bit different than Lifeline in terms of like one of them is like a medic, the other one has like a grappling hook. Like they have very different abilities, but fundamentally it's still a shooter where you have the same access to guns, the same health pool, a lot of the same things, and as a result, the really important parts of the game tend to be distilled down to those. While the how you use those extra abilities is fun, but it doesn't necessarily totally impact gameplay.
Absolutely. So that is a That's exactly it. So you do have the same access to the same weapons that are just out in the world. There are chests that you can open all throughout.
So you said before, though, about upgrading weapons. So if I upgrade a weapon, is it only when I find it in the world that it's upgraded? Like once I pick it up? Or is it upgraded like I start with that weapon?
You start with no weapons.
Okay.
You have to just find a chest as quickly as possible, grab what's in there, and roll from there.
And go ahead and hit play and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there is a tutorial.
Oh, I don't want to do the tutorial. Do I have to do the tutorial?
Yeah, right. You don't have to. As far as I know, you don't have to do the tutorial. It's been a while since I did the tutorial. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they made you do it. It's not like Sparky. So, it's not that you can necessarily upgrade the weapons, although there is a lot of conversation in the community that says, please let us do that instead, because what happens is that the differentiation between the classes is most evident when you're forging.
Oh, Brazil? There is like...
Yes.
So should we solo
Yes.
duo our
Specifically
squad?
Brazil?
Specifically. Yeah.
We're gonna do which one is the slowest queue times or the lowest queue
Solo.
times? Solo has the
Yeah,
lowest
for
queue
sure.
times? Okay. So we'll go solo as a hunter and we'll see what happens. Continue on
Yeah.
though.
So you can go to forges, and when you go into the Zeppelin, which is just like the queuing bay while everybody loads in, you can pull up the map by hitting tab, and when you do that, you'll see that there are a bunch of cities all throughout the map, and each city has a forge in the middle, or like loosely in the middle. And when you go to a forge, you're exchanging shards to either get a weapon, ability.
Do you get to pick the ability weapon or thing, or are you just random?
It's random within your class, so that's where the real differentiation between the classes comes in.
So the RPG elements, if I'm trying to understand this, they you kind of do a lot of this picking and choosing before the game, but then you start the game and none of that matters.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then when you get to a forge, that's when it matters.
That's when it matters, and as you kind of like get comfortable with the gameplay and you see like what kind of abilities are available. So here, go ahead and hit tab. So this is what the map looks like.
And that's where the plane, helicopter, whatever it is, that will go. This is our first. Oh, they even show you the first zone.
They show you first circle, which is
so it's
great.
like I don't want to go to the Lost Forge. Right?
No,
it's lost already. I'm not going to find it.
Exactly. So what they're doing, like as they're updating, which is kind of interesting, is that they're continually changing what each city looks like. So not so much in like actual art and design, but they are restructuring the actual spaces so that, frankly, they're more suitable for competitive gameplay.
So what are these catapults? I know the forges are where I upgrade things. The catapults
are interesting. It's literally just a catapult to fling you somewhere else on the map.
Oh, nice.
And
How
you
do I
can
do that?
choose.
I want to tag Realm Royale on this.
Oh, how do
It's
you?
like
I think it's V.
like a warp.
V?
Forge?
It's what?
Warp, like...
Sort of,
There
but
we
it's
go.
just like it just throws you,
Okay.
and you can choose like where you want to be thrown, but there's not a whole lot of
And you
control.
can like shoot people or be shot at, like...
You can
while
be shot
you're-
at while you're flying, but you cannot shoot anything.
Oh, that's great.
So you'll see. So when you go ahead and drop, and really drop wherever you want, probably Frost Cemetery, which is right to your left, will be very spicy.
Let's go to Frost Cemetery.
And what's interesting, if you've played Fortnite before, what's interesting about like
I
the
have
fall
not.
mechanic? Well, for anyone in the room that has,
I played PUBG though, so we could.
Okay, so in PUBG, do you have a lot of control about your actual flight while you're falling?
You do, because you can get to choose when you deploy your parachute. Mm-hmm. Is there?
So you
want to
grab a chest.
Wait, did I already pass a chest?
So the chests around here are going to be right by the tombstones, and there should be at least 2 or 3 in the actual forest.
There's like no one here. I thought this was gonna be a hot drop.
The
I did
characters
too.
have like abilities, like skills based on the class.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so I could
Like active skills, like the hunter can do like hunter things.
Sort of. So like there are certain abilities that when you're at a forge, you'll only be able to forge if you're a hunter.
Oh.
Within the class, it's totally random. So there's like 3 or 4, I think it's 3 per class that you'll get. And they actually just recently added a new element where there's a neutral ability. So for example, like the thing that Eric has equipped right now is neutral. So anybody can use it, has the same effects. But as you develop your talent tree, you can either, like you can strengthen certain abilities that you really prefer, or you can spend more money, like shards, at a forge and forge something for sure.
Yes.
But it's like significantly more expensive.
So now the hunt is on, right?
hunt
And
is on.
this is the really stressful part, at least in my experience of playing battle royale games, is like, where are the other players? So so I have a slug rifle here.
Yes, which is great.
Is that like a sniper?
No, so a slug rifle is probably the best common weapon in the game.
Okay.
And weapons do have certain rankings. So you can get a common, which is the gray one. Green is like rare, and then you get purple and gold. They are totally random, so you can draw a gold weapon from just a random chest out in the world. It is unlikely, but it has happened, and it's just a lovely present when it does.
All right,
But yeah, so your kit right now is actually pretty good. And
do I have armor? Like in a lot of these games, ice block. Become immune to all damage for duration. That sounds nice. So I press. Are these consumables? These like things? These like circle things?
No, so those are the abilities that you have.
So I can just press 3 and I'm invulnerable. Oh, but I'm frozen.
But you're frozen. Yeah, they usually have some kind of drawback. That's a hunter ability. You can tell because it's got that little bow next to it.
So you have to. Okay. So the abilities are like it's like loot. You have to loot for the abilities.
Yeah, you loot everything. Nothing is given to you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And you can also, whenever you find a weapon that you don't want or an ability you don't want, you can disenchant it for shards.
We'll take the healing one. The ice block now seems like. Oh wait, my thing just went red. What? Why?
It's just you can't hit something.
Oh, I thought there was like an enemy I had just accidentally peered upon. That's like a problem in Fortnite, if I recall, is like you can do like a thing like this, and like you'll like always hit an enemy in there or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like people can what did I just do? Why is everything green?
That's just aesthetics of the game that have not been very well blended. So
okay.
You kind of leave a region.
So everything becomes green.
Yeah, exactly.
So this isn't a sniper.
You can have 2 weapons, 1 neutral ability, 1 class ability, and a movement ability.
Oh, okay.
So I probably want to run. So I have the assault rifle and the slug rifle, and you're telling me that the slug is it's like a shotgun?
It's like a rifle, but I wouldn't say it's like a sniper rifle at all.
Ooh, Is the revolver any good?
Revolver's my favorite weapon. I wouldn't trade it because you have a stronger. So the green slug is better than the gray revolver.
And you're saying that the assault rifle is gonna be otherwise I'm duplicating kind of my weapons because the revolver and a rifle are gonna have pretty similar usage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they are color coded, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're color coded. Gray is the worst, gold is the best. In between, you have green, which is like decent, and purple, which is much better. The gap between the purple level and the gold level is significant, probably more than it should be. So having a purple weapon is great, but it's not terribly better than having a green.
Yeah, I wonder who started like this color coding because it's like it's in everything like Destiny, like even Hearthstone. Like
that's true.
I think it was WoW.
WoW
did like the yellow for legendary.
Right. Oh, if you go back up there,
was that a good chest?
It is. So the ones that are green and they're like more boxy looking, those are potions chests, and they'll have usually health potions, but they might also have armor potions. So the yellow one is armor, and if you hit G, you'll drink it. And now they've made it so that you can actually move and drink it at the same time.
So do I want to drink it now?
You do,
okay.
yeah. You want to have as much armor as possible.
Oh, I see down there. Okay, in the bottom. Okay. And the health ones I don't want to drink until I'm obviously hurt. Mm-hmm. Let's go to this castle.
Also, if you hit Z, you'll have a fun surprise. Now you can move around more fast.
And I'm running on water.
Good water. Awesome. It's like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I feel like a certain religious figure right now.
So somebody is in there forging, you can tell because those circles are how much
so how do I get off this thing?
Z again. There you go.
Ooh.
Oof. So they are flying somewhere above you.
How can you tell? You heard some sort of sound.
Yeah, so the sound effects in this game are really important.
Oh.
They're how you can differentiate different attacks and abilities.
I don't want to fight, I just want to forge.
If you hit 3, you have your health ability. So you'll heal up a little. Nice.
Oh wait, I'm almost dead. H.
3. And H, yeah.
But the abilities have cooldown?
Alright, we're gonna charge them.
Oh, okay.
They do, and the higher the ranking ability, the lower the cooldown. There's your chicken.
Alright, so now what? I'm
now
reviving?
Just run. You
Alright.
want to just get away from
No, don't shoot me, man! Oh, you can have my stuff. Alright, and so now I'm done, right? I can
You're done. You can return to
lobby.
lobby, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to play around?
Sure.
Okay. Like, that always makes my heart beat so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that moment in the Battle Royale game. I'll turn up the volume a little bit, because it's kind of hard for at least for me to hear the sound effects.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything at all.
But see, the thing to note is that with a lot of these games is like Janelle has played, so like she instantly hears things and she's just like,
yes,
I know what even that little. You guys have a fantastic day.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I will also. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the thing about this game that's so interesting is
I just finished Bordeaux and posted my questions. Oh my gosh, he's so hard.
Yes.
Thomas told us like so many times like don't like get so stressed out. Just keep reading. And I was like. I kept stopping and being like, he told me not to stop, but I need to reread this. Like, yes. I don't understand.
And also, like, the sentences are, like, way too long. The way he writes, you know? Like...
Here, I want everyone at home to hear this one. All right. I actually sent a sentence to my friends.
Yeah, is the best.
All right, here's a sentence from this book. The habitus... The durably installed generative principle of regulated improvisations produces practices which tend to reproduce the regularities of immanent in the objective conditions of the production of their generative principle, while adjusting to the demands inscribed as objective potentialities in the situation, as defined by the cognitive and motivating structures making up the habitus. That's the first sentence of a section. I just want to make that clear. Like that was I didn't just pull a random section that's context. There's no context for this sentence. I was so it's good. He's obviously very intelligent, but I am not, you know.
Do you mind if I switch up some bindings?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. You can change the I lowered sensitivity really high. I prefer very low sensitivity when I play shooting games. Like I like to use my arm to aim and then do my wrist for fine tuning rather than using my wrist for everything.
That's why the mouse pad's so large.
Yeah, that's why I use a large mouse pad like that because I liked that feeling. You should see the one I have at home. For the audience, it's like this. Oh. It's like really long. Like I put my keyboard on it, and then I keep the keyboard to the left.
Oh, nice.
So it looks really nice, I think.
That is nice.
So this game, like, I don't play like battle royales, but like, is this like a trend to like try to mix up RPG elements on stuff like what Overwatch did, like?
There's no RPG elements in Overwatch.
No, but you have like classes. You have like different abilities.
Like roles.
Roles, yeah, like.
Yeah.
I think that it's a trend going back to around the 2010 to 2012 era where MOBA games got really really popular. So if you look at like the difference between like a PUBG and this, where like this has these RPG elements, that's actually quite similar to the difference between like StarCraft 2 and League of Legends, right? In terms like those games play very similarly. They're top down, right click to move, RTS style controls, but one of them is like putting a privilege on classes and playing a unique character and feeling like that's a decision you make outside of the game before you start. Whereas
it's like like MOBAs came from Dota, that was like a Warcraft stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that there's been definitely a big push to like I think it's like the natural right now at least the natural extension of anything. So new thing comes out, all right, thing does it not perfectly. So like I'm thinking like PUBG like does it not perfectly, or better yet DayZ, right? DayZ really did not do a great job with the
bindings.
You unbinded the most important
like the
button.
most important one.
That happens. Here we go.
Okay, so this here is a rune.
Okay.
So it gives me chicken health, which is nice.
Yeah, that's not bad. So the runes, can you have as many runes as you want on it?
You can have up to 6.
Okay. It's kind of like how in Dungeons and Dragons you can only be attuned to...
Oh, there's a rune indicator, like...
Yeah, there is. Sorry.
So, to finish my thought. So, like, there's, like, the first extension of a new idea is to, like, perfect it and get it better. So, like, PUBG and Fortnite made, like, DayZ and that kind of style, like, I think a lot better. And then I think the natural extension from there is... There we go. The natural extension from there is to then start introducing class elements. So, like, I'm thinking of, like, Overwatch is kind of like a League of Legends version of Counter-Strike, right? Just to, like, a lesser degree, right? Like, there's objectives and stuff like that. And it's interesting to me because to me the RPG genre is not really about like this. It's not like to me like.
Ooh. Nice.
Thank you.
Kill the chicken.
So that will revive if you don't kill it.
Yeah.
So we just achieved something. The novice hunter. It looks like they had like a sniper rifle or something. So you definitely had.
Yeah. So they had a slug rifle, but I like my revolver. It's my trusty
nice.
companion. So. Do you guys want me to kind of talk about what's going on?
Yeah, tell us, please. I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
when did you know that person was coming up on you?
Well, I heard their footsteps, and the thing about this game is you can hear footsteps from, like, way far away.
That's why that guy was ready for me when I entered the forge. I thought I was getting a jump on him because I could see that things were being forged.
Yeah.
If you crouch walk, does it make your footsteps...
Yes, it does, but it makes you a lot slower. So if you're trying to be sneaky and you're like maybe invading a forge in a solo game, it's not a bad idea.
But otherwise...
So for example, I already have this chicken rune, so I'm just going to shard it.
Okay.
So I'm already at 130 shards. You can have a max of 200. So pretty much my game plan here is I'm going to come in here, which is where the forge is.
No, you can like do this as well.
Let me turn that up so you can hear footsteps as you're forging.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Oh my god, this is like Rune City. Thank you. Alright.
Oh,
so this is the forge. And this is like this particular one. They actually just upgraded this one. And I have a very particular way that I do stuff based on the loadout that I chose. So like on my regular account, whenever I play Hunter, I have like a very particular loadout that I go for. But one of the big things that
Ooh.
I know it's like so much fun. One of the big things in this game is shard economy. So just the way that you kind of spend your shards and be very conscious of like how you're getting them. So right now I'm doing okay. Oh, that's not bad. So this is in my opinion, best movement because this is what it does. So it bumps you back and now you're invisible.
Nice.
And as a legendary, it lasts... I wish. As legendary, it lasts quite a while.
So, it kind of strikes me as interesting. I feel like, comparatively to a PUBG or a Fortnite, I feel like it'd be a lot harder to, like... Here's a good example. Dave was teaching me teamfight tactics. That game has no RPG elements, nothing really like this. It does have... There's a lot of inbuilt knowledge still to, like, win that game. But we managed to win our first game of teamfight tactics. Right, against like 8 other people, because it's kind of got some battle royale kind of stuff going on too. Would you say that it would be really, really difficult for someone to win, even in their first 5 hours of playing this game?
No, not at all.
Unless they were maybe with a squad of experienced players or something.
If you have any... I mean, if you play this game... So, for example, I just heard a mount. There it is.
You just one-shot that chicken.
Oh my god.
I think somebody else was probably shooting at him because he was already pretty low.
You did this to the movement, or you heard something?
Alright, so no, do not get on Janelle's bad side. She will shoot you.
You ask questions later. So, I don't think it would be very hard. The reason that I say that is because this game has a steep learning curve when it comes to something like learning what all of the abilities are, what all of the movements are, that kind of stuff. But as soon as you get a sense for even what one of the cities are like what one of these areas is like, it's pretty easy to go on a roll.
Okay.
So, for example, this is like the most recent update. Oh, somebody had a bad time here.
Yeah, but nobody has taken all their stuff yet.
No.
So that means that...
Ha, noob.
Nice!
Nice!
Okay, so Janelle is really good at this game.
Also, check. So this is a flare. It's one of the hunter abilities.
Okay, what does that do?
So it'll...
You can see over the thing, right? Oh
so
my god!
And so you didn't kill the chicken fast enough.
I didn't.
And
no.
now... Ooh, is that a different person there? Or is that the same?
Same one.
It's a hunter as
They went
well?
back for their items,
Yeah, they did.
right?
Or they are a hunter, yeah.
So you're like looting in the middle of this fight.
Yeah. So
And
they
second
had just
time the chicken
third
doesn't come
actually.
back.
So someone else had already chickened them.
Wow,
They're probably
you're
very
really
upset.
good at this.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't even change the sensitivity. You're just rolling with
I'm just
mouse
going,
sensitivity, and you're aiming so
here.
well.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just.
So that's our
rolling with
third
it.
or fourth kill.
Third.
Okay.
Oh, somebody else is here. Yeah, somebody's foraging here.
Probably helps that. I'll let you focus.
Oh, this is not hit scan. Like this crossbow, or this projectile.
It's projectile. Ah, fuck.
You have more health.
So,
Ooh, I like the music that
Yeah.
plays like.
The music is. It's something else. And what's really funny is, so I'm gonna try and get like right here. You're quieter when you don't move.
Of course, yeah. The Great Eggscape. You're getting all these achievements for me.
Okay. Yeah, they're still around somewhere. There you
Don't
are.
forget to eat your health.
Ah.
This time, I don't know if you're gonna make it.
If they get on their mount, I'm super screwed. But if they're not that worried about it, oh, they're fighting somebody else. So that's like a little chicken charge, and you can also peck at people like that.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Can you heal while invisible?
No. Oh, there you are.
You just
Who
nailed
are
them.
you?
Wait, you saw a fourth one. Is that from your rune thing?
So, yes, it is from my rune thing. They weren't expecting it,
Use
obviously.
the tree as cover.
Alright, come on. No, somebody else is here. Why are you like this?
Why are they fighting the chicken? You're not a threat. The threat is clearly the people who have guns.
oh.
I'm honestly just gonna get out of here.
Yeah, like you have to know when to fight and when
Can
to
you
like.
drink while on that? Oh, wait, I'm done. Wait, I thought you said we only had 3, because you keep dying and
I
you
know.
keep getting to be a chicken
This is
again.
my last one, I think.
Oh.
Alright. Also, this is like a really fun thing. You can jump in through windows and use that to try and get away.
Ah.
Oh,
You
this
can't
guy's
do
so
that
mad
as a
for
human,
sure.
right?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, you did
Enough
so
is enough,
well.
sir.
That was amazing. Daniel, do you want to
Who
give
are
it a
you?
shot?
No, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at shooters. Like,
Our team plays 12. We weren't even a team.
it is like this game. You have to like do a lot of stuff at the same time. Like
You do,
loot
yeah.
and disenchant and like.
Yeah, there are a lot
it's
of
a learning
elements.
curve. It has a learning curve. Right?
All I want to say is that I want to see Janelle play more, so I hope I die fast. All right, so we're now...
So now that you've unlocked a bunch of stuff, you can start building out your talents. So what this is going to do is it's going to help you privilege certain abilities that you like, or certain weapons that you're especially good at.
Okay.
Um,
So when I get that thing, I'll be better.
exactly, yeah. So if you go... I think it's
Loadout?
yeah.
Ability, so I can do Ranger. These
Yeah.
have a reduced cooldown or increase the damage. I'll take the reduced cooldown. I like doing things more.
For sure.
Then, alright. So I'll try solo again?
Yeah.
I like playing the fighting games here. They're more like it's easier to pick up.
That's just, you have more inbuilt knowledge that transfers between fighting games, right?
It's the
Whereas-
fighting game habitus.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. No, like I'm not used to like playing FPS game because I don't have like a gaming PC, so I've played a lot of Counter Strike like a billion years ago, like
Yeah.
with a mouse and a keyboard, but I mean, I'm not like a FPS player, I would say.
Gotcha.
And also like you have to be able to like do the whole thing, like looting and like be able to like differentiate like and picking things on the spot, you know what I mean? That's hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of like really quick decision making.
Yeah.
Especially for this game where there's like so much that you can do at any given moment, and they made it even more complicated now because up until like a month ago it was just 2 weapons, 1 movement ability, and 1 offhand ability, but now you have the neutral and the class based, so it's even more complicated.
I'm just looking at the different...
Yeah,
classes.
so Warrior has some kind of default. Warrior's good if you're playing in a squad because he has some abilities that can kind of heal several people, shield several people. If you're really good with the weapons of a warrior, which is throwing axe, and what's the other one? There's a throwing axe, a sword, and a hammer that for some reason sends lightning. No one is sure why. You just swing the hammer and lightning goes. Yeah, so for example, if you were playing warrior and you went to a forge, you would be forging one of those 3 weapons.
That makes sense. These games seem to, like this game in particular, doesn't seem to privilege as much the your versatility as it does your ability to use like particular set loadouts well.
Yeah.
As opposed to like maybe some other games where it's like you can't always guarantee that you're going to get an op in PUBG every time. So you have to make sure that you're good with other stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But this game, it seems to privilege more like, this is the way I like to play, and I'm going to only play that way.
Yeah, and you can, once you max out all of your classes, you can pretty much do that. Like, you can choose which, you can choose which movement ability you want, which weapon you want. You just need to be equally able to generate shards so that you can actually afford to do that.
So I actually did something that I didn't know if I'd be able to do, which is I marked a place on the map.
You did, and you marked a very good place.
So it's not like...
It said gun point. I thought,
Yeah,
you know, there's going to be guns there.
Guntown is really
Guntown.
good. I would recommend dropping at one of the top layers there, so right where you're going is a good spot. And so it's going to just kind of shove you to the nearest thing.
So, when you're, like, all maxed out, like,
Oh, wait.
the RNG
Oh,
stuff,
I'm at the
like,
forge.
it's not that important because you can, like, try to make the same build, like, every time.
Exactly, yeah. And that's not always possible, but it's nearly always possible.
What you make of that, like, is that a more
There's
interesting,
someone around here,
like,
right?
way to play on a Battle Royale than, like...
Than just like the randomness of
Yeah.
other ones. I think so. I think that it kind of facilitates you to get really good with a certain kind of loadout. And it pairs really nicely with the class element of the game. So you can essentially
Someone over
design
here
your
is
class. So
getting
there's 2
kicked.
people. Yeah, nice. So your Q ability right now is going to send a skull that ricochets around walls. Which is
deals
always
damage?
nice. Yeah, and deals damage. Which is always
Yeah,
helpful, like inside
why?
buildings.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? It's not if
Nice.
it's not for damage, right?
Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah. Mind games.
Get scared.
Yeah.
No, get back here.
Oh, he's in there.
You slow down a lot when you fire.
You do, yeah.
Where'd they go?
He might have dropped down.
He dropped down.
That's somebody else, but also good. Oh, they have no weapon. Get him.
Nice. Oh.
Until that person I was just shooting at kills me.
Yeah, there's still just... That might be... Okay, so this is actually something I haven't mentioned. So Realm Royale has struggled historically with getting players in the game because it was very popular when it first came out in alpha and then lost most of its player base over the following months when they like weren't releasing updates and it was just a lot was happening. Oh, hello.
Nice.
Ooh, get him. So that thing that guy just sent at you was a soul gust. It can go through walls.
Where are you?
I think you probably dropped down to that middle layer there. Oh yeah.
Wait, you saw him in there?
I thought I saw him.
Well, he's gonna be a real person in a second. He's gonna kill
You
me.
just gotta get him one more time.
You'll come back with full health, right?
You don't actually.
Oh, really?
That's something that you can unlock in a talent tree, so
Oh,
someone
okay.
might be able to do that. But you, I think by default, come back with half health.
Oh, I like this shotgun. Though my other thing is good too. Okay, so The third person perspective means sometimes people can see you and you can't see them.
Yeah. Above you. That's someone else, though.
Ooh, where is the person? I mean, like, yeah.
How do I jump through this window?
Double jump. Space. Oh.
I tried. I was the right idea, but it didn't work out. Hey, I got a kill.
Do you want to go again?
We'll just keep trading.
Okay.
Because I then pick up, like, I drag, like, 3 things with me, like, up, every time I move. Just the Coke in the phone.
So, but, like,
thank you.
Why people were dropping
heavy.
out?
Yeah, I know. She's bulky. So what was that?
Why people are dropping out of the game? Like, why?
So, they lost their player base for a lot of, honestly, pretty good reasons. Like, it was totally valid. It made this huge splash when it first came out because they were like, we're going to be a fantasy battle royale and that's all we're ever going to do. We promise.
Like
and
crossbows and swords and stuff like that.
And they like totally turned their backs on that. A few updates into the point where they realized that like, oh, we're losing all of our players. They're like, well, don't leave. We'll bring assault rifles. We know you want those. And everybody's like, but those aren't fantasy elements. Like, what are you doing? And they weren't making updates that the community actually responded well to, and then they just stopped updating at all. So
For a while. And now they're updating again?
And now they're back up. So it is like an ongoing conversation among streamers about like, oh, so Realm is doing really well again because they're doing like XYZ things. And they're finally doing the thing where they respond well to like streamers that are really keeping the game going, because they are. There are like maybe 5 or 6 streamers that they run the community games, they run the tournaments, they stream on the Realm Royale channel all the time, and they're the reason that the viewer base and player base is still around, realistically.
As with many games.
Yeah, which is actually like a really interesting dynamic. Like, it's getting to the point where games like this, that, for example, maybe they like mess up in the past and they lost all their player base like these guys did, or they're just not terribly popular at first. They need streamers to really help them kind of bulk up that player base. Which
is crazy, because like I don't know like what company is behind of this, but like this idea of like game as a service, like it makes more sense when you like build up, like when you like you are trying to build up a base, a community first. It's different from like what EA did with like BioWare. What's the latest game from BioWare? Anthem. Anthem is like a service game, like games as a service, but they went like 10 years trying to design the game. Like there's like a huge documentary, like a lot of like journalists are trying to like understand what's happening on BioWare and like EA, but like they spent like millions of dollars like designing that game, and then like flopped terribly.
Yeah.
And like it's the opposite. It's the opposite here. People are like trying to assess that. Well, this will be like possible. This is like manageable. We have a community. We have a player base. So we should go. I mean, like probably the development team at some point they were like asking themselves like, is this worth it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that what like the servers were almost shut down at one point. Like, it was a really there were many points in Realm Royale's history where it seemed like it was just going to be over. And then they started making like intelligent changes. Like the talent tree was a big one that a lot of people had been asking about, and I know for sure at least 1 or 2 streamers had been like strong advocates for that. And then they did it, and they executed it like decently well. I have like my own frustrations with it as someone that plays the game a lot. But for the most part, you know, I can't complain. They've started to do the thing that we've asked for so long, which is that they respond to the things that we want and the actual problems. Yeah. Because the game had a long history of being just so buggy it was unplayable. Like, you would load into a game, wait for it to queue, and then it would just crash.
And also, like, you have another problem that is, like, should the designer like pursue his vision, or like trying to do stuff because the community wants, or because like this is like where the hype is today, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And that was a big problem with this company too, because the
Paladins.
CEO and that The CEO had a lot of ideas for what the game could be, and they weren't really lining up with what the community wanted or what the developers really wanted. So there were a lot of like background things going on as this game was happening, and he recently kind of shifted.
Shifted the name of this developer is just
Hi-Rez.
Hi-Rez. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to be mean towards this company, but Hi-Rez is kind of a company that just tends to follow trends.
Oh
right?
yeah, yes.
Like, they tend to be the second, worm to the dirt, so to speak.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you're not wrong. Absolutely.
So like I'm thinking like they made like
Yeah.
a MOBA, if I recall correctly, right?
They did.
And then they made like a third person like this, but it was like a MOBA with like lanes and stuff. I'll let you focus on killing this schmuck.
Ooh, nice. Wow.
Are you trying to peck me, nerd?
Why not, right?
Get out of here.
Janelle's a natural streamer. She calls her opponents nerds. Ooh, they had some armor. That's pretty nice. That they hadn't used it.
So that's actually a new thing that they did. One of the recent updates is you will guaranteed get at least one armor pot.
Oh, just from killing somebody.
Just from killing someone, and you get whatever they had.
Oh,
so if they
nice.
had stored up like 10 of them, which is rare unless it's late game, then you just hit the jackpot, essentially. Armor is king in this game. It's so easy to get someone's health down, but getting all their health down and their armor, it's totally something else.
So looking at this game, like just for me as like a cat, and I don't want to I guess I wouldn't really call myself a casual in like the sense of like not knowing anything about games or something, but like more so as like a casual observer in general to the Battle Royale. I've played a lot of PUBG, like 200 hours, but otherwise I haven't played like any of the other. I've never played Fortnite, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
This game looks a lot like Fortnite to me.
Yes, absolutely. They took a lot of cues from Fortnite.
The cartoonish thing.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, the major differences, though, are these, like, RPG elements that we've kind of been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is this mount thing? I don't think they have that in Fortnite either,
They
right?
don't, no. Maybe they, like, added something like it. I haven't played Fortnite in a very long time, so I have no idea.
But the Fortnite that you played didn't have that.
No, it didn't. Yeah.
It seems like the chest mechanic is kind of different, too. Is that how it is in Fortnite? I know in PUBG, items just laying around. Like, you just have to go find them.
So if I remember correctly, in Fortnite, there are items just laying around, but they do also have chests.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't have is, like, a potions chest, specifically like this, because potions and armor are historically very difficult to come by in this game. Okay, so they're done foraging. No, they're not. Where are you, nerd? Okay. Oh,
Janelle's on the hunt.
butts.
Ooh.
Nope.
So now you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna run out.
Oh yeah, I'm hard out of here. You don't know me.
So it seems like also if I'm like thinking about this in terms of like Counter-Strike and MOBAs and things of that nature, ooh, that's pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
The fog sets in.
Ooh.
I don't think we've heard that. Yeah.
Where are you? There you are.
So you're trying to get headshots because your headshots do like extra damage.
They do.
That guy has like a different skin, right, than normal.
He does, yeah.
Yes.
Fight me.
Fight me, nerd.
Yeah, so that's another cue that they took from Fortnite for sure, and they're finally, we'll say, like, properly investing in it.
Mm-hmm. You're always welcome, by the way, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you wanna take a shot.
Oh no, yeah, no, thanks.
So they're finally like actually investing in having different aesthetics, and they have battle passes now that are actually good. The first one was not. The first one was just bad. I can say that objectively, it was just bad. But now the battle passes have not a narrative, but they do have like a kind of thematic cohesion to them, and the aesthetics are actually kind of nice, which they have not been in the past. I'd say like the last two have been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like they're kind of following up on like, so that's where we're gonna make our money.
Is like in the
these
skins and
aesthetics.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about like you have Fortnite. That's like a huge thing. Like, yeah, it's the thing. Like, but I mean, at some point, like the battle royale thing will lose like traction. I guess like.
Yes.
But
I
I get this feeling that like that you have like a lot of different like battle royale games that are more like inventive, like more innovative. Like for example, I haven't played like any one of them, but I've been following. But like
Tetris.
Apex Legends, yeah. But like Apex Legends seems like so much more interesting than Fortnite. Like in so many ways, like even the reviewers, like even like the critics are saying this stuff.
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean
it's
that's why I stopped playing Fortnite in the first place.
Yeah.
It became boring and kind of unplayable because it got so ridiculous. They kept trying to kind of one up everything they were adding in to the point where it's like, why am I playing this?
Yeah, I think it's also worth remembering that like games are like, yes, like I think Fortnite is like a phenomenon, right? Like to some degree, and the battle royale genre kind of is, but like I think that instead of thinking of them as like something that's gonna like die or something, like, or like it's just eventually going to settle into its place within the gaming landscape.
Yes.
Like first person shooters were like that, right? Like we had our first like real console shooters in the early 2000s, and then our first PC shooters in like the 90s. Doom was like literally all games being sold were Doom for a while, right? Like Doom was all that mattered. It was a huge cultural phenomenon, and now shooters are just like they're like a thing, right? GTA was like that too. Like GTA 3 really helped popularize the open world, like third person shooter. And there was a period of time where like every game you played was open world. Oh yeah, we should get chat up. We haven't had it up. Play Scholar. Hey Ryan. I'm so sorry. I can't actually understand what Daniel's saying when he talks.
Sorry.
We'll move this up a little bit, and then do you want to turn up the volume? I'm so sorry to everybody at home.
Sorry, Ryan.
I think Ryan had to go, but we appreciate his viewership anyway.
I know Ryan's gonna be like, "Hey Eric, you didn't interact with chat at all." Not like a negative way, but like, "Hey, don't forget to do that." And he's so right. I made a mistake. All right, so I'm gonna go to
Hopefully
the Seaside Graveyard. That place sounds
nice.
spooky.
It is so spooky.
Oh, I guess I should probably jump. All right, so I kind of want to look down and I want to see. Oh, can I alt look?
You can, and that's gonna change kind of like your movement. So unlike, for example, Fortnite, where you have very little control over where you're going once you
jump.
drop,
Yeah.
this gives you full control. You could arguably go anywhere on the map, within reason.
Oh. Just where I wanted to be.
Nice.
All right, I can fly. How do I do that? F. Okay.
Yep.
This is just a pistol. This is a revolver. There's someone here.
Someone's already got. What is that?
And they're shooting at somebody else, right?
They are, yeah. So that's already going to be either a purple or gold weapon, because that weapon only comes in purple or gold. I think it's epic and legendary.
Please give me a better weapon than this pistol. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I picked up a better thing.
No, you're good.
I feel like I'm in a horror movie.
That's something. That's gonna do just constant damage.
Yeah, I killed someone with this guy last time.
Any big time streamer is like is streaming this, like, because I feel that this is a big thing, like for battle royales as well. Like it becomes like a self-feeding like thing. You know what I mean? Like you became popular, and then like everybody want to stream your game because they can monetize better, and then like people want to follow those streamers, and then like they want to play that game. So it's like a feedback loop. In a sense.
I think so.
He's got to be low.
Yeah, for sure. He's trying to get out of there.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, he's scared.
Wait. Well, that was bad aiming.
Penguin. It's just the most frustrating place in the world.
So I want to make sure that my weapon is reloaded because he's about to be back.
There he is. He's back.
I definitely am not aiming the best I could.
Behind you.
Nice.
Nice. Get him.
No,
don't do it again.
Oh man, and he's an like expert chicken player.
Is someone else shooting at me right now?
Oh,
Okay, well I got the kill. That's what matters.
Get 'em.
H.
But yeah, I know what you mean about feedback loop, and I think that you're right. Especially for something like this where they struggled for so long.
Time to fly! Wait. I wanted to fly, but... Oh.
Oh. Nice!
How did this... I'm okay. I'm like...
So,
how do I fly? I want to...
F.
my point is,
yes.
like, kind of doesn't matter if the game is good or not, like, objectively.
Yeah.
It's, like, matters if you have,
I
like,
like the
big-time
revolver.
streamers, you know,
Yeah.
like, playing the game and, like...
Alright.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Is that footsteps? That's the...
No.
Nope, that's the radiator.
is it footsteps or is it heat? It's kind of like influencers, like on Instagram and stuff. I see it very much like that. It doesn't matter if the product or the game is any good. It's just a matter that, like, I don't know, who's someone famous that people care about?
Yeah, Ninja,
Oh, I did
for
it.
example.
Actually,
Yeah, like
I'm
Ninja.
flying.
Exactly. There you go. You're flying.
Like,
Oh,
the
no,
guy,
no. Give me the
guy is
revolver.
Such a big deal that, like,
I'll put that in my other one.
Microsoft is trying to build the streaming
I
platform
know.
around him. Like, this is crazy. Like,
It's
he has
wild.
movie deals.
Did I
you
say
know?
ninja or did
Yeah.
I just think
Like-
that?
Yeah, which is just ridiculous.
Alright, so, I have 144. So I want to make a weapon.
Nice.
I don't know what's happening.
The weapons is in the
Okay,
making.
also give me some armor potions.
Yeah.
And some... And,
Nice.
Okay, so those things are being made. That scares me.
The fog sets in.
You're in circle though, so you're okay.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I picked a spot in the circle. Okay. Anyone want to come fight me? 2 people have already died. I swear I saw movement.
It is a pretty spooky graveyard.
Someone's hearing that someone's foraging, and they're like, I'm ready to pounce. But little they know that I'm going to pounce on them. Okay, thank you. And,
Nice.
bye-bye assault rifle.
Oh, you have like, this is like a
So what is
staff?
this?
Yeah, so that's a stone staff. It's gonna shoot 3 projectiles
And I give,
at
okay.
a time.
So it's more like
So
a
let's
fantasy
give it a
weapon.
shot. These have infinite ammo in this game? There's no ammo?
Yeah, no, there's infinite ammo.
That seems very weak. That's all I'm going to say about that.
It is pretty weak. It used to be like the strongest weapon in the game, and then they realized that was kind of a problem.
Oh. So there's no reason not to max out my armor right now, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't use the special abilities very much because they're kind of hard to understand for me.
It takes a while to get used to them, but I can always give you like a rundown of
Can I?
whatever they are.
Can I continue making? Okay,
can,
so once
yeah.
you forge something, you can't forge it again. Okay.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and do a
Your
rune.
Yeah. Runes
So I
are
just get a
difficult.
random root here. So what would you say is better, the staff or the revolver?
If you are confident in your aim, the revolver. If you just want to kind of spam damage and maybe scare someone, the staff.
After my last fight, I'm pretty confident in my aim. Okay, let's try to. I want to try to fly up like there.
You no longer have your sword. You switched it out for a leap at some point.
Oh.
I'm a fool. All right, so we have the armor potion. Increase the effectiveness of armor potion.
Nice.
But I
That's
already
good.
used all my armor potions.
That's okay. Now you just
All right,
have
so
it
where
through
do
the
we want to
future.
go next? We want to go to the catapult here, I guess, and
Yeah.
then we'll catapult over to Jade Gardens.
Oh, there's another mechanic that hasn't really come up yet, but it might. So if you check your map frequently, it's not a bad idea because golden chests will drop randomly.
And it'll show on the map.
And it'll see there's one right there. And obviously everybody can see that.
Use
so...
the horse. Use the horse.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
true. There you go.
You're weak on the horse. Don't you understand? In PUBG, if you're in a vehicle, everyone knows where you are.
Oh my god.
And that's true. The horse is actually kind of loud. So there
Yeah, I
is
heard you
that.
hear a neigh before, and then go kill that guy.
Yes.
So here, I'm getting off. Oh, so you get off really fast, though. So there's not like a
Yeah.
get off.
There's not like a get off like timer or anything.
I thought I heard a ooh.
That might just be your character.
Okay.
And now you can just kind of choose.
See you later, losers.
Oh, there's some kind of fight that was going on down there. Someone has... There might be another mage in that fight. Two chickens.
Wait. 2 chickens means
What?
that I'm about to die.
They're in the house.
Oh, a revolver.
Oh my god, what a hot spot. That's...
Ooh.
Everyone's fighting me right now. Okay, well, yeah, you're dead. Q. I don't know what it does.
So that's a concussion grenade that's gonna just blow people away.
That seems...
Nice!
The kitchen, the chicken in the middle, like...
Just-
See ya, nerds. Okay, don't.
oh my god, how are you alive? That's amazing.
How do I get health? Health seems to be a kind of a rare resource. Can I do my special jump while I'm? Nope.
No.
Oh, that was a bad jump. I wanted to go up more.
Oh, now you're like...
Alright, so let's reload our weapons.
Okay, so the mechanic
Yes.
I never finished explaining was, so because they had this really tiny player base, they introduced an element of bots. So
That's what I killed one of those times.
possibly. It's a little hard to tell because they keep kind of improving them, but like a significant portion of every match is just bots.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
That
how
definitely like.
significant?
So I think it's like, I don't know if it's changed. I used to
Oh,
follow
I
it.
just. Okay.
No, you're good. I think you...
That was a
you did.
rune, and I
okay.
definitely just. I've just been like destroying everything.
Just get them shards.
Wait, F. Oh, wait, I guess this coursing river will not actually drag me with it.
So last I can remember it was like 30
Ooh.
real players.
And how many
Really?
games does a
70% bots.
match have?
100 players total.
Oh, Trinity Hills is like
So-
the center here.
So
That's
it's
so much.
mostly bots. So you'll get like, and I don't know if that's
I just
still
took
true,
fall
like how
damage.
many there still are. There's a way to check, but you need to use like one of those game trackers, like
Oh,
Realm
thank
GG.
goodness.
Nice. That potion rune is coming in handy.
Is it? Oh yeah, because that's 900 instead of
400.
600,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 600. So it's a lot of bots. And you can usually tell that they're a bot if they're just like running like
What's this going on my screen with
Like
the
really
red?
slow run.
Oh, it's trying
It's
to tell
your-
me that I'm not in
There's
the
someone
next.
behind you somewhere on their mount, I
Oh,
think.
oh really? That's what that was?
No, I just saw him.
Oh yeah, staff time. Don't worry, when my staff reloads, you'll be dead.
Yeah, that seems
Nice.
like a bot, no?
7? What?
Oh, you can use that
Probably
ability to
should-
help heal you.
What ability?
The one on the ground over there with like the strong guy yelling.
I can't equip. Oh, there we go. No, pick this
Nice.
one up. Okay. Oh, so I need to get moving eventually, but we're at full health again, and we're top
Excellent.
7. We have a viewer. We have viewers on Twitch and viewers in this. All right.
We're having fun, Ryan. Thanks for... Wow. I can't believe I'm in top 10.
Woo!
Wait a minute. Wrong way. Okay. The way I need to go is like up this way. Okay. And towards Trinity Hill.
Yep. Ooh, Trinity is...
That's where we...
End game. There is a golden chest over there.
I'm not going for a golden chest. I already have this awesome staff. I feel like I'm set. 4 players. Okay. We don't need to be on this.
You are top 4. Look at you.
That means the fog is closing in?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I don't have to kill the other 3 players. I have to let them kill each other. And then I'll swoop in and get the final kill.
Look to your right, above that tower. Yeah, there's someone up there. Oh, they're stuck.
Let me
They're
help
not
you out.
stuck anymore.
Yeah, now I've revealed my location like a fool. But see, the thing is now they'll all think I'm over there, but I'm actually over here. Okay. How many? Can I tell how many
There's a
players are
golden
remaining
chest
right now?
there, right?
How many what?
How many players are remaining right now? Or
3. 3 remaining in you.
Where do you see that?
So it's the number 4 under the map.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's still 4. That's what I was really asking. Okay.
And when someone dies, there's the kill feed that shows up above the rune. Someone is near.
To me right now.
Yeah.
How can you tell? Like,
I heard someone get on a mount.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, yeah, okay. Your ears are trained for this game.
They are. Oh, he's so low. You got this.
He is. How do you know he's low?
Because he was taking a potion, and so there's a differentiator. If you see gold numbers when there's damage, that's for armor. If you see red, it's for health.
Ah, okay.
He's moving on a mount. 3 players.
There's a legendary weapon over there.
Is that...
What a massacre happened here.
This is where I remember
Good
I escaped
Lord.
from this massacre.
That's true.
Ooh, wait.
legendary weapons.
That's a legendary.
So
Frost
that one is going to
stuff.
do a lot of AoE damage, so it's going to be an effect.
Okay, well that's probably good because I suck at aiming.
So if someone's near you, honestly, just aim at the floor.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the thing.
So you are top 3.
And there's no one behind me, actually. I know where all the players are. So this is a good place to be. Let's heal up. Shut up. I'm trying to be quiet.
Can't you tell we're being sneaky?
So,
Oh, over there.
we know where they both are. Okay, so I'm going to trust that this guy's the better one. I'm going to go to kill him. He's in this building, I think, right?
I think so. Upstairs, maybe?
An AoE and then a closed space. That's what I call some fun.
Ooh.
Somebody is... Okay. There.
There he is.
That just sucks.
Yeah. Oh my god.
This doesn't seem like an AoE.
If it hits anything, it's gonna do AoE damage. Like floor, wall.
I'm not even in
Yeah,
the thing.
so they're...
What? That.
Oh.
We got second.
That was so good.
Nice.
Last
Oh,
chicken.
you went last chicken?
Yes.
Last chicken.
We were eliminated by Twitch TV/Dragon. Well, we're Twitch TV/Serious_Slay. Play. But we slay too.
We do.
Done. That was pretty fun though. I'm surprised I got so far.
Yeah, that was really
And
good.
I didn't get far just because I was like camping. I did get quite a few like kills. Okay.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get a lot of XP for that.
Oh yeah, that was the first game as the mage. Getting second with your first game with the class has got to be pretty nice.
Oh, for sure.
Level 2. Give me to level 3, baby. Oh, come on.
Ooh, almost there though.
Deserve level 3. I was like 2 shots away from first place.
I'm not saying we lost because of it, but But I think switching weapons at the very end there as an inexperienced player really hurt me because like with the new staff, I was like, what does this do? Like you know, like I was like suddenly my focus was not on how do I kill this person, but how do I use this weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really like where the core of the learning curve is. It's like there's like a ton of weapons in this game. And then there's also the element of like you have to constantly be trying to get the better version of each weapon. So like as soon as you spot a green anything, it will most times be better than whatever gray thing you have. And like so on and so forth.
Unless you're like me, and I had a great pistol the whole time because I just realized, or the revolver, because I was like, this is way better than any of the other weapons.
Yes, it's like, this is what I know. I'm the same way, though. I'll choose a revolver over pretty much anything.
Oh yeah, Ryan says he loves Bordeaux and that I'm intelligent. He just makes it hard on purpose. Thanks, Ryan. Don't forget to forage when you have a lot of shards. Last game I had so many shards. There was no forages for me to use.
Alright.
Is there always going to be a forage in the circle? Like.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So like will the final circle like kind of go in on a forge?
No. The final circle sometimes will be totally random. And that's actually one of the other issues with the game is that the circle sometimes is too random. So like a lot of times you'll end up with a circle that looks like that.
Okay.
And half of it is just like in the water.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing you can do about that.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like a much smaller.
Yeah, like of usable area, it's like way, way smaller.
Well, the circle is probably like the most important like gameplay twist I'd say on the Battle Royale thing, right? Because if there's no circle that's continually getting smaller, then you have no reason to actually engage with the other players, right? Yeah. The circle is like what drives the conflict.
Exactly.
Of the game, which is funny because in a lot of the games that we've been playing today, because we kind of just been landing in the circle, it hasn't really come up too much where the circle is like, but like the circle just creates the natural gameplay flow of the gameplay in Battle Royale games. It's like basically again without it, it's like the games would be the worst, right? They'd just be like,
which is completely arbitrary. Like, how did someone came up with this game mechanic? Because like for example,
I think it's in the Battle Royale movie. They have to where like certain like it's like and it's in the Hunger Games too, right? Which is based on the Battle Royale.
Yeah,
but like you have to be in certain zones or like stuff of that
yeah.
nature, forcing movement. And I think it's a smart turn, but I also think it's the very natural. If you're like we're gonna put a bunch of people on an island together, they have to kill each other. Well, what stops them from just hiding out in their tree and never moving?
Yeah,
but it's like it's a very natural next step in like terms of game design, I think.
Yeah, but my thing here is like in the movie Battle Royale, you have like a lore, you have like a narrative explanation for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about this game, of course.
Hunger Games, it's like
it
super
just happens.
dystopian.
It just happens. Like it's the same if you think about like MOBAs. Like
that's the same for all esports though. Like, with maybe the exception of just Street Fighter. Like, I don't know, like, and Tekken. Like, but, like, and maybe, like, King of Fighters. But, like, even, like... You got it.
Oh my god, like...
Fight me, nerd. Yes!
Really?
Time to go! Let me out the door!
They should really be trying to kill you right now, because there's no way you're like...
Oh my... Is that for real? Like...
Yes!
Oh no!
Where's the door? Not again. It's definitely not gonna work again. No.
Alright, I played a really long one, you played a really short one, so go ahead and play another one. That's fine. That was
I can't believe
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
People like don't know what to do. Like, why are you doing this? Like,
that guy like had like the burst SMG, so it was like, and you could tell everyone. I don't know if they have recoil or not, but it was like he was just like aiming like right over your head. That was
that was beautiful.
That was the highlight of the stream.
oh my god. Ooh, 1 point, like.
Oh, really?
Really.
Wow. Why are you like this?
But no, I think a lot of esports, to me, as somebody who's an English major, right, and who's now like, I mean, not saying that we're kind of all in that area in this field, but like as somebody who had to study like narrative and literature for a very long time before I even got to even thinking about games, thinking of esports as like a narrative medium, like kind of comes in two ways for me, but neither of them are the narrative in the sense of like a story about fictional characters. Instead, in esports or in regular sports, the narrative is always like constructed around the players themselves, right? Who are playing the game. Like, these are the favorites, these are the underdogs, right? That's like the classic first like sports narrative. But there's many other ones. Like, this is the old timer, right? Who's coming back, or this is the young gun, right? And I think so. Like, we conceptualize narratives in that way. We conceptualize narratives, especially like this is my team. Right, so I'm rooting for them. So like we have, like it does like all of that other stuff kind of bleeds into the background a little bit. And when we're players, I think we construct a narrative like the way we understand what happened. Like in the last game, we construct a narrative of like Janelle flew down, she got like a weapon, then she got into a fight, and then like we could like we say the and then and then they knocked her up, but she got him as a chicken, and that was awesome, and then we killed them, but then somebody else came and they got us, and that was too bad, right? So we have like a narrative in our head, and so the narrative for an esports game, I think like we still construct them when we're playing like a battle royale game, even though the game itself doesn't really have a narrative, right? We're just strange mythical people killing each other on an island, right? That's all it is. But we construct a narrative because of the emergence of the gameplay, right? It's like an emergent narrative that we're building with the other players. And that's, I think, what makes it fun. If we were only trying to win, this game would suck. Because at least in a normal esports, you win half the time, right? Like, somebody wins half the time. Somebody wins 1% of the time, in theory, if there's 100 players, right? And so, Colo Falnuk, he's constructing in Hero Nico and C Note LA, and Dadilio. They're all helping construct the narrative of whatever this particular game is. Yeah. What's interesting to me about battle royales in terms of emergent narrative is that only one player the game is too big. We don't know all of the narratives, right? Like, we just played a game that's still going on, for one, but two, like, other stuff is happening on the map that we'll never be privy to. So it's a very subjective narrative, right? Of just us and then who we interacted with. Yeah. But the fact that there are these other narratives is what drives us to keep playing. Because we know that there's so much more possibility on the map. Yes.
Absolutely. It's like the potential for different kinds of narratives. And then when you're in like the spectator mode of any esport or any competitive game, part of the work for like analysts and casters is to bring you into that narrative and make it like digestible, right? So that everybody understands like exactly what's going on, which is something I don't currently know what is going on. Here we go.
Like, I mean, when I was talking about narratives, like, how you get like a movie trope, like a narrative element, like the idea of like you have everyone like in this thing happening for a reason, like shrinking and they have to kill each other. And you turn that into a game mechanic that for some reason it's fun, like, I completely agree with you, like, for this to happen, you don't need any explanation at all. Like, it's a fantasy world with like assault rifles, like it doesn't make like narrative sense, like, but people like buy it because it's fun to play for some reason, But like this transition between like, oh, there was a movie or like a TV show or whatever that like had this like as a plot point, as like a plot device, and then like developers like turn that into a video game that has like no like metronymic reference to like the original thing, you know what I mean, like, but also like functions in a different way, like, this is crazy because like, I mean, you don't have like, I don't know, maybe there are people out there that don't know like how the battle royale game mechanic came to be in the first place, like,
for sure.
Not that this matters for like the gameplay actually to happen.
Well, it's interesting, like, because you do bring it up, like battle royale as a genre has much more narrative roots. I want to get that guy up on the hill. Ooh, he's got to be low.
That chicken.
Oh, nice! And then they definitely flew the wrong way. Ooh.
That's my loot.
I don't think they're going for it.
Oh, they don't have a weapon. Awkward.
So that's probably, you would think that might be a bot then.
It's possible.
But
it's a little
It's impossible
tough.
to confirm, right?
It is impossible to, like, the only way that you would be able to do that is by, like, doing one of those. You know how Overwatch has, like, Overwatch GG, I think it is?
Yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah,
track
you look
your
up their
gameplay.
name, yeah.
Yeah. That's really the only way to tell. Because you look at the number of players. Alright.
So, like, yeah, I do find it interesting, though, the Battle Royale genre, like, as opposed to, like, MOBAs or Counter-Strike. Like, Counter-Strike is, like, nominally about, like, terrorists and, and counter-terrorists. And so we can kind of see, like, some post-9/11 narrative kind of going on there. To be fair, though, I think the first Counter-Strike mod for the original Half-Life came out, like, 1999.
Yes.
But still, terrorists were a thing before 9/11.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, like, we see some real world, but the Battle Royale has such an explicit genesis, right, in the Battle Royale movie and the Hunger Games, which, let's be honest, is, you know, kind of a... I don't want to... I guess it's not fair to call Hunger Games a ripoff of Battle Royale, because I think it's covering, like, a lot of different thematic concerns, but it's definitely riffing on the same general concept of a society where people... like where higher like elites or something force the non-elites to fight. Wow, that was really good to find just in a chest.
Yeah.
That was like a regular one. It wasn't even like a rare one. That's like when you randomly open the Legendary Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's interesting to think of like the dominant genre of 2015 to like of 2020 has definitely been the Battle Royale in terms of the cultural capital, right?
Yes.
And to think that this is a genre that has its roots in like dystopian, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a meritocracy?
Meritocratic. I was trying to like make it the
okay.
adjectival version of meritocracy.
Gotcha.
Meritocratic, like dystopian meritocratic, like film, right? Battle Royale, which is all about like really like to me at least what that film is most obviously about. Well, it's about many things, most likely, like most films are. You found somebody?
I found this.
Ooh,
What
gold.
is- oh,
That's
the
a golden
golden
chest. Anyways, it's about a lot of things, like all movies are. But it really seems to be about the Japanese educational system, which is like really. Bye bye. We got legendaries.
Ooh. This is so OP. Okay.
You're dead.
Yeah, that one is. This weapon
That's
is
your
super
fourth
OP.
kill, I think. Third.
Third.
Oh yeah, but you helped take out. There was like there were two people fighting, and one of them was already a chicken when you when you arrived. So that's why, yeah.
So yeah, go on. Like.
Oh yeah.
About
And
the
so
movie.
it's interesting to think that this thing that's kind of about like I think that it kind of makes sense that like even though the genesis of the genre is like this particular kind of narrative format that's only that's specifically about a time in Japan and their educational system to some degree. I think it does kind of translate to a way a lot of millennials feel about the current contemporary job markets. At least I don't want to speak for all of Western society, but for America. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's necessarily a coincidence that this becomes like the fad game form for this like 5-year period, because to some degree I think it does reflect the way that we feel in terms of like in academia especially, right?
That's
like
perfect.
and so I mean that's literally like an education to education metaphor. That's almost more metonymic than a metaphor. And so I think that like that's interesting. I don't know. I bet you someone has written about that already. I'll go on the UWM library website and I'll see. But what do you think? What do you think, Daniel?
No, I mean, like, I've never thought, like, in that way, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm super interested in, like, how, like, these mechanics, like, came to be, like, how they come to matter. Like, the whole idea of, like, the MOBA, for example, like, someone had the idea of, like, making a MOBA from, like, Warcraft that, like, had the best part of, like, what Warcraft is. That is also, like, leveling up the hero and, like, battling other heroes and whatever, you know? Like, so in like
that person might have already been low, or did you just like headshot them?
I think I headshot them.
It's a
this is
ghost
ghost.
chicken.
Oh, that one's new. That's cute.
Oh, I think they
Ooh.
made it back. They're behind you.
Ooh, I know what you have.
They're trying to peck at you. No, maybe not.
Oh, no!
You son of a gun!
Killed out the chicken. Chicken and chicken vibe.
You were doing
no.
so well. Alright, 1 second. So I'm
That
gonna
was
look up
so good.
Battle Royale. I feel like I wrote something on Battle Royales once. I think it was in undergrad. Anyways, gotta sign in. You can go ahead and play another because I'm doing research now. We're doing
some
real academic work.
Yes.
Beautiful.
All right, as I proposed to T.L. Taylor last week, academic labor.
But that's a super interesting reading, Eric. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do peer reviewed so we don't just get every Battle Royale game on the UWM library. Alright. 2009. Does forced absence from gaming lead to pornography use? Okay, not... insight
Not
from the
quite.
2018 crash of Fortnite servers. Okay. Rethinking video games, a case study in video game play and identification. From what year is this? This from 2013, so not relevant. Nano Warriors, military nanotechnology and comic books, 2005. Let's go ahead and... what if I... You know what? What if I just put in Fortnite for a sec? What if I try that first? And I'll take out video games. And then we're going to do peer reviews. So there's only 30 things on Fortnite. And Fortnite is Hey, I didn't ask to put video games back in there. Okay, let's try this
What are
again.
you doing, database?
Okay, let's try this again. Now there's 104. Okay. Fortnite is misspelled, which is important because it makes it new toys, gear, and Fortnite for coming through. How is License Global
peer reviewed.
peer reviewed?
Wow.
Okay, anyways. Newspaper. Okay, so we've got articles.
Yeah.
So we want articles. And then we're going to go ahead and from 1982. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do 2015. Fortnite comes out in 2016, right? So there's no way anything is written about it before then. Heart rate response during esports, Fortnite, medicine. Okay, so let's go ahead and topic computer and video games, and let's see if we've got more. Video games is fine. Social media, yeah, I can see that being problem gaming. See, like I don't care about problem gaming or copyright law or education. Alright, so we're slowly filtering down. Alright, still got new toys for Fortnite. NFL end zone celebrations. Malware risk for Fortnite. Mobile gaming is no longer shots by. Okay, well, that might be interesting. That's still licensed global. What is licensed global? Now I just gotta know what this
so
is.
like, I don't know if like, I've never seen like someone writing about like this stuff. As you said, Eric, maybe you should do it.
Yeah.
This does not look like a peer-reviewed website. It has advertisements.
I'm gonna say it's a
for
hard no.
SpongeBob.
Wow. That's how you instantly know. Not peer reviewed.
Okay.
But like, if the battle royale genre is like reflects like this society, like this American
Like
society,
a social
with,
anxiety, yeah.
And what does MOBAs translate, for example? If you take them as a period, as a product of their time, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's kind of like the unencumbered versus encumbered individual kind of discussion, right? To some degree, where it's like if we view all games as being unencumbered and just kind of following trends and fads based on what players want, right, with no real relation to like culture, right?
Yeah.
Then it's just like battle royale games were just a new thing that happened.
Yeah.
But we can understand to some degree that like maybe technological concerns made it less difficult in the late 2010s to have 100 players on a server, right? Whereas that may not have been possible in 2005. Though I would argue that based on World of Warcraft, it absolutely is possible.
Yes.
Like games were doing that before then, so it was possible to make a battle royale game before they became popular, even if it was easier when they came out. And so that is a great question. like the classic example that I think of from gaming just in general is that like when you're playing like an old game from like the late 80s or early 90s, or even before then, like a console game, and you're like wondering like why is this so hard? Why does it have a scoring system? Like why does it have a timer on the level? All of those things are because it's borrowing from the arcade to some degree, right?
Yeah.
But also, like I think that it's more than that, right?
Like games had to be hard because the game was short in itself, so you had to like be able to like took more time to complete the game. You couldn't make like a 100-hour game like you can do today. People don't know what to do legit. Like
I wanted the other guy them to fight. Yeah. Like,
I thought that they were gonna fight that guy. I don't think that guy was in his field of view though.
all right, I'll give it a shot. But no, that could be a really good paper.
Yeah, I think so.
you should do it.
You should keep looking. Oh yeah, this is empty now, so we'll put it up here.
So like millennials are enacting the job market playing Fortnite. That's so crazy.
Well,
like they're
Fortnite
preparing.
is more popular among Gen Z, we might even say. So they might be
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
the more pressure.
Young people.
And this goes to easy. Okay, it's like I'm just going to make one thing really clear. I hate generational theory. It's the dumbest thing ever. Generation Z doesn't exist. Neither do millennials. People are just born. Okay? Like, we talk about generations. I don't like the way we talk about them in, like, very, like, defined terms. Like, millennials are like this. When, like, no. Millennials are like 50 million people.
Yeah.
Like, they're different. Like, yes, there are trends because of the way they grew up. But anyways, Gen Z theory would say that Gen Z's children, and now young adults, are hyper concerned with matters of stability and stuff because they grew up in the recession, right? They came of age when the United States was not an economic power at the time. And that would make more sense then if you're thinking of a Battle Royale game as being like something that captures their attention. But then what do you do with Minecraft? They want to live in a world with infinite resources where they don't have to worry about... You can really just draw these parallels.
You could totally make that argument.
Yes.
But so I don't know how much stake I put in the generational theory, but I do think that that you can see a reflection of anxiety in popular competitive games.
Yeah, there was this thread on Twitter this week that I was following. Like the guy was arguing like because there is like this esports gap between like the West and the East, you know, like in some like StarCraft and like MOBAs in general, like the Eastern teams are usually like much better than like Western teams. And the guys are like, oh okay, but like most kids in North America are like playing Fortnite. They are not like playing League of Legends. They are not playing Dota. They are not playing StarCraft. So how can you like even the odds if people are more interested in playing like this genre here than like that genre there? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
which is interesting. For example, like if you think about it, like why StarCraft is so popular in South Korea? You know what I mean? Like. Counter-Strike it's hugely popular in Brazil. Like there is like a cultural explanation for that because like in Brazil we had like LAN houses that like and also like piracy was so much easier to like distribute like Counter-Strike legally because nobody had money to like buy the original thing like. And it's you don't need like a like high spec gaming PC to like play Counter-Strike like back in the day, you know, like
Now it's
like,
a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I'm talking about like Counter-Strike like 1.5, 1.6, you know what I mean? So there are a lot of like hugely famous like pro Counter-Strike players that are from Brazil. Like we have like a huge like scene of Counter-Strike there because we had like the how can I put it? We had like the infrastructure. We didn't have the infrastructure actually. I mean like
the infrastructure
the absence of infrastructure, like the whole like context, like the environment was like good for a Counter-Strike scene to like flourish. You know what I mean? So I guess this is a huge influence of like why some game or some genre is popular here and not there. You know what I mean?
So then would you say that there wasn't the infrastructure, but the community kind of made it happen?
Yes, exactly. Because like we had in the early 2000s was so much easier to like because for example you could have like people would gather in LAN houses to play to like overnight. You know what I mean? Like I did like a lot of times. And like in a LAN house, you don't need like high-speed internet because you're playing like locally, so that's not a problem. And also like yeah, most of those LAN houses they didn't like own like legal copies of the game.
Sure.
So like the guy just I have this space, I have like 20 PCs and like let's play the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because as long as everybody, because if you're just playing internally, then it doesn't matter.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that like enabled like a community to flourish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And that I think is probably the part that like me personally I'm most interested in when it comes to gaming, is just this is such a like a social phenomenon. Like gaming independently is a completely different experience than gaming in a group. Even something like this, only one person is playing a game, but we're all very invested in what's going on.
yes.
And there's a certain level of like spectatorship and dual spectatorship because we're on stream,
yeah.
right? So a ton of people are gathering to watch one person play a game. And I just find that so fascinating, kind of counterintuitive to what a lot of people would say about games, maybe older people. I know, like,
All about them being like a solitary act and
yeah,
stuff.
gaming as a solitary activity, like that's just such a misconception. And streaming and esports really prove that now that we kind of have the infrastructure to pull it off.
Yes, so sure. Yeah, and yeah, gaming is like I mean, I was so like because in Brazil in media studies, like in academia in general, like we have like this feeling of people don't take games seriously, you know what I mean? Like
Same thing
game-
here. Oh,
So I was, but I mean, like when TL addressed this in her talk, like, oh,
Yeah.
people in media studies here don't pay attention to games. I was like, oh, shit, like really?
Yeah.
Because like, okay, like, yeah, it's crazy because the US is a huge market for games, so
Oh yeah.
these things like come and go. You know, like the
Mhm.
academia is always like intertwined with like the academia don't like exist like outside of the rest of the
Yeah, like
society.
it's thoroughly invested in the market.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people
Yeah.
disregard games as a serious object of study.
Person's
And that's a
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah, as a serious object of study and as like
Ooh,
a
nice.
serious, even like a skill that you can devote your time to.
Yeah.
I mean, streamers have had to deal with that a lot when they kind of have to ask themselves, like, am I making enough money as a streamer that I can quit my day job? Right? And it's only possible because of the people that watch the stream and pay for the stream. So it's just entirely self-propelled.
Go for it.
You know?
I hit them so many times with my shotgun.
Now run.
No.
The game should be like just that, you know?
Right? Just chicken fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope it's a game mode eventually.
Yeah.
You wanna
And
go
then
get
that
him,
will be
Shadai?
like hugely
for it.
popular, and then it will like be a spin-off, and then that's the next genre, like chicken fighting.
It's really funny. So battle royales have become such a thing that there's a game on Steam called Battle Royale Tycoon
Oh my god.
where you create
A battle royale game.
just like an old school roller coaster tycoon game.
I love that game.
And
so
there's
much.
also a game that I don't think it's actually come out, but I've seen some promotional videos for it called Last Man Sitting. It's a battle royale where you're just in a chair. And I think you have a weapon, and it's just a bunch of people sitting in chairs, like rolling around. So it's ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where the genre makes fun of itself
Yeah.
and still profits.
Yeah, I think that Riot had like this huge convention, and they announced like 100 different new
Yeah.
games, and one of those were like a esports simulator.
Mm-hmm.
It was Riot, right?
Yeah. It's is
Yeah.
it like was it supposed to be like fantasy esports or was it
Yes.
like an esports simulator?
No, I don't know. Yeah,
like
but
was it like a football manager game?
Yes.
Or was it like fantasy League of Legends?
no, it was a football manager game, but esports. I think.
Oh
I'm
my
not sure.
god.
It's ridiculous.
But that's like.
What am I studying?
just really thinking about your whole life. What am I doing?
I thought I had heard that, but continue on with your
Yeah,
point.
so that's crazy because like it's so meta because like it's a game about managing sports of a game that was based on a mod of a different game from like 20 years ago, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If I'm honest, that's like the most beautiful thing about games to me.
No,
is
it's awesome.
like is exactly what you're talking about. Is like that like the battle royale genre has its roots in DayZ to some degree, which is a mod of Arma, and
Oh, really?
and the MOBA genre has its roots in a mod of WoW. Or not WoW, sorry,
Warcraft.
Warcraft 3. So I was thinking Warcraft in my head, and then I just said WoW. Warcraft has its roots in Warcraft. WoW, World of Warcraft has its roots in Warcraft as well. A lot of things. Basically, Warcraft, because it was such a pirated game, and because people love to tinker with it so much. That's what I love about Valve. Is Valve puts a lot of value as a company. Like Valve has problems, lots of
Yes,
problems,
sure.
but Valve does put a lot of like particularly valuable energy into making their games moddable. And so that players can choose what they want to play and make the games they want to
Absolutely.
play. And 99 times out of 100, I bet you those games are junk, the mods. But that one time you get a Battle Royale or a MOBA,
Yes.
right? It just like, or Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is a mod
Yes.
for Half-Life,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yes.
not, it's like, then you have an esport. And almost every esport is, except for with the exception of maybe the RTS genre, is like starts as a mod of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, mod. There was like a whole conference on just mod culture and kind of what that has done and what has facilitated. That happened, I think, like a year ago or 2 years ago. And you, like, beyond necessarily esports, but just gaming and the kind of experience of modding games, that is just a huge aspect of the things that Valve even puts up on the store. Right, so like if your game isn't moddable and there aren't mods available, like the amount of mods available is a signature for how active and engaged the community is.
Yes.
Which is so interesting because like I play a lot of Don't Starve by Klee Entertainment, and the vast majority of things that have changed up until very recently with that game happened through mods, and the way that they have started to like update and change the game is in response to the mod culture that surrounded the game. So it's like stuff that fans created, and then the company that originated was like, oh, okay, we can do that, and we'll do it ourselves. So it's almost like a feedback
It's
loop.
free labor, and it is
Oh, for
also
sure.
free labor. Like, and that's so crazy because some companies like they are so good at like leveraging like the player engagement, but others are like terrible. For example, Nintendo, like there is this documentary on like Super Smash Bros. Melee, like Super Smash Brothers. It's a fan-made documentary about like the esports scene of Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it if you haven't seen it.
It's amazing, and like
I want to probably do part of my dissertation on the Smash community.
awesome.
Oh, cool.
Speaking of the Smash community, if you're somehow watching and you're part of the Smash community here at UWM, I need to talk to you.
But they have like meetings. Do you know like?
Yeah.
I saw a poster like
Yeah, I saw it.
Smash Club, something like that.
Yeah, I'm part of the UWM Facebook group. I have to get in touch with the leaders because next month, wrong weapon. Just die.
Nice. Those chickens don't know. how to
He
play.
wasn't like moving. That was kind of weird to me. Let's go ahead and get our armor back. Where's the other stuff?
So in the documentary, like at some point, like it tells the story of like how the esports scene of Melee started, and at some point, like Nintendo, when they were about to release Brawl for the Wii,
Yeah.
they were like, okay, now this is over. Like we're not going to support this. It's not like just the lack of support. It's also like trying to
Animosity.
stop, you know, and like it was like, and then people, there was like a huge backlash, and
Yeah, of course, because you're shutting out a part of the community, right?
yes,
And,
Yes.
and arguably for not a very good reason.
No,
yes, yes.
definitely not.
A terrible reason, actually. Like,
Oh, hold
so
on,
they
hold
don't.
on, hold
I mean,
on.
some companies they have like they don't know how to leverage this.
Nice.
I think it's awesome, but at the same
Oh,
time,
that's
I
so
think
cute.
it's
I almost
like,
don't want to kill you, little panda.
at
Give
the same
me your
time,
health
I'm
potions.
So, like cautious to like think about it and like to also like
Ooh, better shotgun.
because in the, like by the end of the day you're working for free for the company, you know,
Yeah.
like that's the thing that you're doing.
Yep.
which is more complicated than that. And like Taylor's book is so good because she addresses like how this affective labor is much more. It's not black and white.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Nice. Yeah, you can double heal.
I did that already. Yeah, but someone's here, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
I like the one that makes it so you can hear people, or that you can see them through walls.
Yeah.
So you are in a fantasy world, like it's a fantasy world, but you are like in a
I want to keep the conversation on developer
using
support
a
for
shotgun to like kill mages.
Yes. Exactly. There's no logic. And like what's really funny about that is that maybe a little under a year ago, Hi-Rez released a promotional video that was a minute long, and it tried to give it a narrative, and it was really bad.
Of course.
It made no sense.
These games
whatsoever.
they don't hire people who are good at writing narratives a lot of the time.
I mean, yes. I don't know who they asked to do it. They should have maybe collaborated more. But it made no sense. It was like fight for the realm because we need our strongest warriors, so fight for the realm.
With shotguns? Like...
With like yeah, exactly. Like with weapons that don't make sense. And
chickens?
And chickens.
Yeah,
It's just like a species kind of thing. Is this like maybe they're not like humans as we understand it or something? Or is that maybe like an aspect of this fantasy situation where you're all killing each other and like you have a chance to redeem yourself to fight for the realm as a chicken. It doesn't really make sense, but I do find it interesting that they felt the need to try and create a narrative and to like apply one. Mm-hmm. I don't really know why they felt the need to do that when there were far bigger problems to address.
I think that's one thing that you brought up that I want to return to. I agree that like the narrative doesn't make any sense, or at least I don't think it has to, as I kind of elaborated on earlier. But like I think the relationship this is what we started the stream with, so I think it's worth coming back to. The relationship between developer and like the fan community or the esports community can be really interesting. There are certain communities, like I think that Overwatch is a great example of this. Overwatch is a game that is very successful as an esport for sure, right? At least like I don't want to say relatively. They are successful. They have a lot of views. They have a league that's very popular, right? Probably the most popular esports league in the world right now.
Yeah.
Run. I'm gonna kill you.
Nice.
I told you.
You did warn them.
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, you got that flare if you want it.
Is that...
That'll let you see people.
This one? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Give me this. No. Okay. 1 sec. Don't shoot me yet. They're not even shooting at me. I just want to use the forge, man. If I craft another rune, I get to finish my daily quest.
That's excellent.
Right.
Daily quest completed.
I like how I knew that. It's something I thought before the game. See, most people would stay around their rune while I was forging, but me, no. I want to shoot this person with a wand. Anyways, so like we talked about how I should get my hand at Fortnite being a pro because I'm doing pretty good at this.
Brag much?
I have 6 kills. I've never had this many in PUBG.
Ooh, that purple slug though.
I already have. I have what I want actually.
Nice.
The only thing I'm gonna take is runes. Like at this point, like cause like I really like I made that mistake last time where I had like a weapon loadout that I really liked. The reason all this stuff is here is because I killed these people.
Nice.
All right.
Is that littering? I don't know.
Well, I can't pick it up.
If you like do something at the forge, someone else could pick it up.
Yeah, so it's only bound to you for a short amount of time. I think it's like 5 seconds, and then or maybe it's 3, and then beyond that, yeah.
Nice.
Which is so much fun.
Yeah, I bet. Like
it's so horrible, but it's so good.
Is that laughing I'm hearing? What is that?
So that laughing is a loot goblin. They will appear in the game randomly, and if you go, so that's a loot goblin. They have like insane amounts of health, but they'll drop like a ton of legendary and epic stuff, and they will probably drop a rune, if not two.
Okay, so they're in.
It's just another thing that they added to kind of... So they did this in response to the fact that...
It's like a fantasy thing, right? Like fantasy games often have this.
Yeah, like just kind of in-game loot that you have to work for. They added this kind of in response to the fact that for a while it was really hard to find people because there used to be more forges than there are now, and so it was way more spread.
Oh, no, I want to keep my staff. Bye. Throw a potion in. Oh, well, that's legendary support, so we'll keep that. All right. Now back to the Forge. This is a fun game, I will say.
It is a really fun game. It gets crazy when you play squads.
I could definitely see that. Hey, my stuff survived. And ice staff. No, thank you. Thanks for the shards. I use the shards to make more shards. To make less shards, actually. But back to this relationship. So Overwatch keels over and dies if Blizzard decides tomorrow that the Overwatch League is not making them money, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're a fan of Overwatch. And I'm not saying that they're going to do this, right? I'm just saying, like, in general, that's the case. The game totally relies on the support of the developers to continue its esports scene, right? Meanwhile, a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee is like a game that there's no developer support whatsoever. So... that game will survive regardless because the community is what determines whether the game lives or dies. As long as they continue enjoying the game, as long as there are people in the community willing to put in the labor, right, to like continue seeing this game grow. And there's other games where like I think of Counter-Strike, where a lot of the tournaments are very decentralized. Like they're like DreamHack tournaments or something like that, right? It's not Valve putting on a tournament or making a league, though there are discussions of Valve potentially making a league soon.
That wouldn't surprise me. After the success that Blizzard has had with the Overwatch League, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Ooh, I can make more stuff now.
And Valve has the money, like...
So, just so you know, you are at max health potions. You can only carry 10.
Oh, okay. But I need more armor potions, so... Now we run away, because...
But someone is around you, so you might end up using them anyway.
Wait. That doesn't see. That heals.
Yes.
Darn it. Okay, someone's gonna be here soon. They're gonna kill me, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna...
Oh no, they're fighting somebody else.
It's over here though, right? I'm not stupid to think
like
that it's over here. Yeah, okay. I haven't seen any, like... So...
Behind you.
Wow, they did a lot of damage really quickly.
They might have a legendary. Yeah, they do.
I was like, if I run to where they are, if they're running to where I am, I'm running away from them. But okay, go ahead and we have time. Go die really quick. And we have time for one more. I really gotta leave at 2. I gotta dump something off at the recycling center or whatever you want to call it. Because it's a box spring, it's like too big to just put on the curb.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
get picked up, but they close at 3, so I gotta get out of here right away. Actually, no, we probably shouldn't play another game.
Should not.
Okay. We can just talk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, now I can actually. Now that I'm not.
Finish.
I had a 6-kill round. I'm satisfied with that.
That was very good.
Now that I'm done getting my kills. Janelle is so good that she just like osmosis, like touching the same mouse as Janelle made me suddenly good at this game. So at the first round I didn't do anything, right? And then after that, good teacher. But anyways,
Thank you.
So like we saw with Realm Royale at the beginning of the show, where we see how Realm Royale kind of pulled support from the game for a little while, right? Or sorry, High Res pulled support from Realm Royale for a little while, and the game dies, right? And so, what does that make us think about when we think about particular titles? Well, like when they live or die based on developer support, it's kind of like a centralized government versus like a decentralized government, or like a structure or something like that. And so what do we do as academics and people are studying these things? Like, depending on the game we're studying, how does the format by which the game's esports scene survive affect how we study it?
Oh, that's a great question. Like,
Yeah.
there are some scholars in Brazil, for example, that did work on World of Warcraft and other MMOs. in like pirate servers, and the servers like shut down, like comes and goes like very fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard because you don't have like the data. Sometimes you don't have like, because like, yeah, I mean, it's online one day and the other day is not there anymore. So how can you do like, for example, ethnographic work if you don't know how long the thing is gonna last? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, but like at the same time, like now I'm talking about like 10, 15 years ago, but like nowadays, for example, people are streaming this, like you have like a memory of the thing going on, like you have backlogs, you have streams, you have like Reddit subreddits, probably,
absolutely.
like, so it's almost like an archaeological work in a sense. Like, for example, if that game dies for some reason, like Hi-Res pull out all support, like shut down the servers and whatever, you still have like huge amount of data that you can like go for. I don't know if, I mean, you have to have like a good research question. I mean, you have to have a reason to go like,
and like dig that up.
You dig that up, but like, I mean, I think today is much easier than it was like 10 years ago. Like, and Twitch it's a great part of this, I would say, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that the fact that there are, and I'm thinking like of Realm and games like it, there's such a strong streaming community that you also have, like, to go off of your archaeology thing, there's also an element that the individuals that were streaming this for so long and kind of had this be like their job, they're also very useful resources to help us answer these questions and kind of change how we look at this as an object.
Yeah.
Right? So if we think of like historiography and history studies, the way that these people would function almost as like remembering historians, right? I'm thinking of like Annalee Hasty and her work about that. So almost like an autobiographical memoir sort of thing. It's like this person is also a receptacle for this lost object now, because if the servers are shut down, then all we have is Twitch records and the people that
we
ran them.
can assume that not. Hopefully, Realm Royale succeeds. Whatever.
Oh my god! I hope so.
To some degree, we can think that in 10 years there might not be Realm Royale. Like it could be a closed chapter, as opposed to like you can still play Super Mario Bros. Right? Because it's not a service, right? It's just a game. It's like it had like a physical thing that was like separate from decentralized.
And you have like also this, like, for example, doing research on like vanilla WoW, it's completely different from like contemporary WoW. So because like someone was like questioning, because there is like this idea of like, should games be in the Olympics, stuff like that, you know what I mean? So for example, if you have like Battle Royale, like Realm Royale in the Olympics, what version it should be? Like, is the most recent patch? It's that patch? It's the vanilla Realm Royale?
That's why
you know
Super Smash Bros. Melee is so beautiful, right? It came out in 2001, and that's it.
That's the whole thing, because Overwatch is running into that same issue now, where it's like, okay, so now we're just going to make the teams play the most recent version. Patch comes out, game goes live that day, they're playing that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so up to date. And, I mean, that, for one, gives them major whiplash, right? Because they spend hours and hours and hours practicing, and then the developers are like, hey, but there's this thing that we need to fix for the players at home that may make your life harder as an esports team, but tough.
Yeah. I think that it kind of goes to show that, like, there was a period of time where esports games were not games as services. So I'm thinking of like StarCraft 1, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Counter-Strike 1. I mean, you can argue there might be some set of games as service for Counter-Strike 1. Because like 1.5, 1.6. But those patches are so much more infrequent. Like you look at StarCraft 1, StarCraft 1 get patched like once a year, right? Like that's a big difference in terms of you look at Warcraft 3, like to some degree, even the Dota All-Stars, like right as like the mod for Warcraft 3, all of these are like not games as service as we conceptualize them today. They're like games as product, right? That is purchased and consumed. And then what happens is some people would just really, really enjoy that particular game so much that they were like, we're going to have tournaments around this around this fighting game. Fighting games are the epitome of this, like Street Fighter 2, like as competitive games. And then what happens is sometime in the late 2000s, early 2010s, you start to have gaming companies approach these things. They're like, these are really fervent fan bases. Like these, like, you know, you look at your Blizzard, right? we made Warcraft 3. We sold 2 million copies. They probably sold a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But let's just say they
Yeah.
sold 2 million copies. We're done making money. But people are still playing this game. How do we monetize that play? And I think you can be a little cynical as a researcher and realize that games as service, to some degree, is just a monetization of like fandom, right?
Absolutely.
It's trying to centralize fandom into a particular place because that's how you get money from it, which I think is kind of a bummer, because I think that like the real beauty of like early esports as an era was that it was like, man, Koreans love this game so much they're going to create KESPA, right? KESPA is the Korean Esports StarCraft Pro Association, right? And so KESPA, like, but they loved it so much. They're like, we're gonna create KESPA. We're gonna have tournaments in Air Force like hangars, right? Because like there's so many people who want to watch like this stuff. It was like so organic, and it's interesting how, as more money, I suppose, gets flowed into it, it becomes like less organic and more centralized.
It's like you have like your basketball league on your neighborhood, like with people that you know and you care, and you have like. And you have like the NBA coming to like regulate your stuff. Like
yes,
you can't play anymore. Like you have to have like this thing here and use these sneakers and play with that ball with that set of rules. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel that like there is a term for this. I don't remember. Some scholar called it playboard. Like
oh yeah.
I like that.
That's what Ian. Did you guys read the Boghost article from this week?
The Goose Game from the Goose Game.
Yeah, he references playboard.
Yeah, I don't remember who wrote this, but this is playboard. Like, and this is something because I don't think. I mean, I'm pretty like pessimistic. I'm pretty like aware of the grip of capitalism. But like, I don't think that these companies can like be totally like they can have like total governance over the thing. You know what I mean? Like, because you can build this arena like everywhere, like be a huge thing. But if people don't turn out to the game, if people don't buy tickets, if people like don't watch the streams, it's for nothing. Like you have to have like this fandom like in constant like motion and like engaged with your game. They do this very well. Like they are very competent in like making the fandom so active and so engaged,
and giving them so many toys to chew on to some degree.
Absolutely.
I think what's really interesting and perhaps even a little scary is how good these companies have gotten at monetizing fun, or like monetizing fandom and play. Because I'm thinking about the auto chess genre. Auto chess is a mod of Dota 2, right? Like Dota 2 auto chess, right? Dota, yeah, like that's what it was called like a year ago. And it became like this kind of small phenomenon where like a lot of people were like, wow, this mod is really fun for Dota 2. Within a year, right? Within a year. So like
1 year.
We've got Dota Underlords, we've got Teamfight Tactics, or we already have two major companies developing their own versions of this small time mod. And then now finding ways to like monetize that enjoyment of the game.
Man.
And I don't want to like what I don't want like us to what you the viewer to get from our arena stream is that this is somehow bad.
Yeah.
But rather it's very interesting how much quicker. Like if you look at the turnover from Dota Auto Chess being a mod to Dota Underlords and Teamfight Tactics, right? Two very in concert, very similar games, right? To a genre that didn't exist 2 years ago. Compared to Dota All-Stars comes out, right, in 2004, 2005, right? And League of Legends, Heroes of New Earth, all those come out 5 years later.
Heroes
right?
of New Earth, oh my god.
Yeah. But
That
it is 2
was a
o'clock.
thing.
I gotta go drop off some trash.
Oh my god.
Which this game was not. This game was fun. Maybe I just had fun because I got some kills. Probably because they were bots. But have a fantastic day, Arena fans. See you on the flip side.
Thanks for joining us.